Today on Locked On Rockies, full strength, half strength, it doesn't really matter. The Dodgers are in a whole other class than the Colorado Rockies.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 18th day of June in the year 2024. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. If your team is the Colorado Rockies, guess what? You're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here each and every day is talk Rockies baseball, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. The best way to help this show grow is by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and checking us out there on YouTube. Really do appreciate it, folks, when you join us on the YouTube channel. And again, thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We're going to dive into the game last night. We're going to dive into some all-star talk. And I want to highlight something from last night's game that shows a big difference between these two teams. We're going to dive into all that and more today. But before we do so, got to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. All right, so the Rockies go, and then this wasn't, I guess, necessarily the way I was going to have been phrasing this is the Rockies' best isn't better than the Dodgers that are banged up. And when you look at the lineup, it's not actually the Rockies sending out all of their starters. Notably, Ryan McMahon didn't play last night. No Charlie Blackmon last night. But on the flip side, Ezekiel Tovar, Nolan Jones, and Brenton Doyle play alongside Jacob Stallings, who has been your starting catcher for the time. You had your number one pitcher on the bump as well. Your usual first baseman and Montero has been playing. And so, you're really looking there and you're saying, all right, well, Tolia, Trejo, and Amador are really the ones out there. Greg Jones coming in to pinch hit late in that ball game, getting his first hit and first home run. Always cool to see, and good for him. That's got to feel good. So I guess, yes, this isn't full strength Rockies. This isn't the Rockies at 100% either, but it doesn't matter. That Dodgers team is in a whole new world. It's a whole new class. That's elite baseball. I mean, and I have a conversation with Patrick Lyons coming up later this week, and we dive a little bit more into this, but that's elite talent. That's elite level of ball. That's how the best in the business do it. Because it's not, because for a lot of teams, your superstar goes down, you're in trouble. Your rookie phenom pitcher goes down, you're in trouble. Not the Dodgers. Not the Dodgers. They're loaded from top to bottom and in the farm system with major league talent, major league ready talent, or pieces to move to acquire that talent. The embarrassment of riches continues over there for the Dodgers. And I know that they're not 1-1. They can't compare in terms of that. But if you're the Rockies, that's the gold standard. That's the bar you have to reach. And a really good point here, too, even if that's too lofty for you, if that's too lofty of a goal, Anilo, buddy there, Locked On Rockies postcast, make sure, by the way, that you're subscribing to Locked On Sports Denver and checking out the postgame. He brought this up. This is a really great point here with the state of the NL. Let me get this up here. Okay. Talked about this and dove into this on the postcast as well from yesterday if you want more information. The Rockies and the Marlins are the only two teams in the NL right now that are totally on the outside looking in for the playoffs. The Rockies are at 25-47. Marlins are at 23-49. The next closest person are the Cubs at 34 wins. And if you get to that 34 wins, if you're in that area, the Rockies, you're in the mix. The Nationals are just outside of a wild card spot with 35 wins right now. San Diego's below 500 and has 37 wins, and they're flirting. Arizona's right there. If you were in that conversation, you're right there with the rest of your division outside of the Dodgers. But the problem is the Rockies are just I mean, James Paxton dominated the Rockies last night. The Rockies' ninth inning scoring gets to salvage them a little bit and highlight that, oh, hey, there's a little pop here. But the Rockies were thoroughly crushed, destroyed last night, really. It was a 9-5 ball game, but the Rockies had one hit for the vast majority of it. Not off the Dodgers' best, off of James Paxton. And Paxton he goes out there and strikes out 8. 2 hits, 1 walk. And then the bullpen just comes in, slams the door. Even with the earned runs there at the end, which was pretty wild. I mean, it was good to see. It was nice to see, especially it being young guys and it being long balls and balls that were hit hard and that and XYZ. But it was just a reminder, that's how far you have to go. That Dodgers team is down, lost their star shortstop. Boom, here's Rojas. He's going to crush. It is such a machine over there that it's not only frustrating, but it's just kind of disheartening because it's just, what do you do but throw your hands up? What analysis really can you take away from that game last night other than the Dodgers are in a different class than the Rockies? I mean, you got to start showing some fight here. And Cal Quantrill did a job again. Even through a shaky start, if you go through, it was only 5 innings, which was, the length is a problem. And we're going to dive into one of the huge strengths of the Dodgers and easily the thing, if the Rockies wanted to imitate, it should be that. And we're going to talk about that here coming up a little bit later. But Cal Quantrill, 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Not the prettiest, but kept it a 3-1 ball game. But here comes the bullpen. 6 earned runs by the bullpen let's see, was it 3 innings? The bullpen's pitiful. Pitiful, man. The Rockies had a chance in that game. For a bit, the Rockies had a chance in that game. But then in the 7th and the 8th and the 9th, crooked numbers. That's a problem, man. It's a huge problem. Justin Lawrence, I know it's coming right off of the IL, first trip back. Hartlieb, I didn't even know where this guy came from. It's still sloppy. You can't beat the Dodgers when you walk 8 batters. And I know Freddie Freeman was responsible for 5 of those walks, but that's just chalk that up as 5 hits to Freddie Freeman. That's essentially what you did. And you set up Teoscar Hernandez, who was crushing the ball. Things are, go right for the Dodgers because they put themselves in the situations for things to go right. The Rockies were in a 2-run ball game against this, but were stifled against the Dodgers' worst pitcher, who was coming off of a situation in which he wasn't sharp lately. When you zoom out on Paxton there, especially coming to Coors Field, they mentioned this on the broadcast last night. Wasn't that pretty? It's he's had some. He has a bounce back start against Texas, but his start against Pittsburgh, he didn't even last 2 innings. There's been situations this year where he gets lit up and he's been not great. But instead, the Rockies go down for a career high in strikeouts against him, and they aren't able to chase him at all. I think the broadcast maybe was a little misleading here. Because, all right, let's see. He had a couple of bad starts in a row here, but he still has a couple of good ones here. Tough start to the season for Paxton. Looked like it was worse there in April, but the broadcast kind of maybe led me astray a little bit. There's been a couple of bad starts there in the last 5 starts, 2 where he's given up over 5 earned runs. But other than that, it's been pretty solid. But regardless, though, it's pretty solid. And then you look at the Rockies line. It's the deepest he's gone in a game all season. It is the least amount of tied for the least amount of hits he's allowed this year. Tied for the, let's see, did he let up a couple of do you have any zeros? And he one of his lowest earned run performances of the season. Easily one of his best starts. I mean, the Rockies were completely dominated. That's the biggest problem when you're looking at these things and you're looking at the differences. It's plain and simple. The Dodgers dominate the Rockies. They are so much, from the pitching to the hitting to the timeliness to the clutch to the this to the preparedness to the everything. The Dodgers put the Rockies to shame. Plain and simple. It's it's tough. It's really, really tough. One thing that was really, really impressive about the Dodgers was their patience. And I want to talk about that a little bit more coming up here in the next episode or not next episode, next segment. We're not getting that far ahead of us. The next segment of today's episode of Locked on Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Game Time. Game Time is the best spot for you to get your tickets. Maybe you waited last second to go get your favorite concert tickets. Maybe you're on the fence, not sure, and you want to go check out the ball game, but it's going to be something you want to decide on right before first pitch. Well, guess what? Game Time's got you covered, because Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. I can confirm. I've used it. That's how I do it. I start about maybe an hour and a half or so before, check out the price then, and then just watch it go down. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying baseball tickets. And not just baseball tickets, all sorts of tickets. You can get your Rockies tickets. Maybe you're planning a trip maybe you're in a new spot and you want to go check out a new ballpark and you want to get some last second tickets. Game Time's got you covered, and you can find flash deals, zone deals, and best of all, you're going to be able to toggle that all-in pricing and get a picture of your seat so you know exactly where you're sitting. Check it all out and see all the deals for yourself on the Game Time app, and download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. That's $20 off your first purchase when you download the app and create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're also brought to you by SupplyHouse. Order supplies from the website that's made for the skilled trades. Find thousands of parts from hundreds of brands in just a couple of clicks at SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com gives you 24/7 access to a huge selection of plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with fast delivery anywhere in the U.S. Need help with an order? Get industry-leading after-sales service from their friendly and knowledgeable customer support team, and talk to a real person. Yes, a real person every time. And there's great news for plumbers, technicians, and contractors. Being a pro has its perks. Trade industry professionals can join their free Trade Master program for free shipping and serious discounts on every order. Over 100,000 pros have already made the Trust Master program to deliver results. Apply for your membership today and get a competitive edge on every order at supplyhouse.com/TM. Save money and time when you order online. Order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. This is the Locked on Rockies podcast. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming service, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked on Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. Also, make sure that you're checking out Locked on Sports Today for your 24/7 streaming channel and getting all your daily sports knowledge there. SiriusXM's got you covered for all your Rockies action all season long. So just check out Colorado Rockies on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Folks, one of the things that I wanted to discuss, one of my main takeaways from last night is just I don't know what it is, but can we take the Dodgers hitting philosophy? Can we take the Dodgers approach at the plate? Can we learn from the Dodgers? Can we learn something from these series and learn how they handle and navigate and manage those at-bats? Freddie Freeman, I know, got pitched around, but the amount of patience, the amount of 2 out, and we've been seeing this now. There is something, I don't know if what is going on with the Rockies, or if there's something that they're tipping, because the Pirates did a lot of damage on 2 outs too. The Dodgers doing serious damage with 2 outs shows that the patience and the approach at the plate is working. They're locked in. They have an understanding of not only the zone, but the pitcher and where they can get away from and where they need to fire on. So many times it would feel like the Rockies got ahead by 0-2 strikes, doing something like that. And then it turns around and it's just boom, single, boom, something in the gap, boom, hard hit ball, boom, walk. When we're talking about big difference makers, when we're talking about big differences between this team, that level of professional patience, that level of just confidence and pickiness at the dish is huge. It shows tremendously when you look at the fact that the Dodgers are a team that scores a lot, they walk a lot, they do all of the things correctly. And that's what you when you're looking at it, they are the team you have to look at, because they are setting the standards of how to get it done, of how to be a machine, for it to be every single person or every single time that you go in, you're going to be dominant. And then that patience pays off when the Dodgers are a team that are top 3 in batting average. They're number 1 in on base percentage. They're number 2 in slugging percentage. They're number 1 in OPS. They're number 3 in home runs. They're number 3 in RBI. They're number 2 in hits. They are number 1 in walks. And guess where they rank in strikeouts? 13th. Compare that to the Rockies. The Rockies have, compared to the Dodgers, have struck out 70 more times than the Dodgers. The Dodgers as a team have walked nearly 100 more times, 197 of the Rockies walks to the Dodgers 286. The RBI total there, that is 353 RBI for the Dodgers compared to the Rockies 286. And as a team, the Rockies have 674 strikeouts compared, like we said, to 604 of the Dodgers. And just if you want the Rockies lines for the rest of those, the Rockies batting average is, let me get that real quick. The Rockies batting average, good for 12th in the league at 248, still 8 points behind the Dodgers. Their on-base percentage compared to the Dodgers 337 is 307, so 30 points higher on the on-base percentage. The Dodgers slugging percentage at 438 is what is that? Was that 430? So 48 higher than the Rockies 390. And the OPS of the Dodgers 774 is higher than the Rockies 698. I mean, across the board. And it goes down to that approach at the plate. The Dodgers are confident and comfortable and know that they can do damage at the dish. They are ready they are prepared. They know what you're going to throw, it seems like. They know what's in your arsenal. They walk up to the dish with a full understanding of their zone and what they need to do to get the job done. That is not the case for the Colorado Rockies. And I know the big difference, I think, to again highlight there is, especially when you look at the lineup last night, the Rockies, younger team, the Dodgers, chock full of professional hitters and professional veteran players there. But that's I don't know if it's the model you got to follow to the T, but it's at least got to be something you're sitting there and you're watching and you're looking and it's just, they know that the two strikes don't impact them. 2 strikes don't phase them. It's almost as if these teams know that the Rockies pitchers aren't going to make the pitch, the payoff pitch. And again, that circles back to why it's such a problem to not have fastball put you down type of guys, for there to be so much focus on this pitch to contact, so much focus on weak contact. And I know Cal Quantrill started. Cal Quantrill can get some strikeouts. He's not a dominant strikeout pitcher, but when your philosophy is that weak contact, you're setting yourself up for over-aggression. You're setting yourself up for, well, if you don't hit your spot every time, you're going to be punished. And that's exactly what's happened. That's exactly what happened against the Rockies yesterday. It's exactly what happened to the Rockies against the Pirates. When you can't put people away, especially with the strikeout, the punch out, one of the true outcomes of baseball for a little bit, it's a massive problem. the pitching philosophy of just inducing weak contact because of Coors Field or whatever it is so flawed. Guess what? Guess what you're not punished by? Coors Field offense if they can't hit the ball. And it's not just the Dodgers. You've seen it time and time again this season. 8 strikeouts from the Rockies striking out 8 times, 9 times, 10 times, 11 times, 12 times, 14 times, blah, 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 blah. So many times the Rockies are striking out at that rate. You're not going to do anything. It's not effective. It's not the patience that you need if you're the Rockies. Watch the rest of the series. Watch the at-bats that the Dodgers take. Seriously. That's the type of at-bats the Rockies are pleading for, desperate for, dying for. And it shows again where the Dodgers completely outmatch the Rockies. Such a better approach of the dish than the Rockies. All right, let's talk about some bright news, though. Let's talk about some good signs, some good stuff here, and let's talk about the fact that the Rockies should be doing better in the All-Star voting. The Rockies might be tough, but the players that are nominated and eligible, and the ones that have gotten some votes, I think they deserve a little bit more credit than what they're given. Let's dive into that coming up in segment number 3. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about some of the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. It is the most fun, exciting way to get you in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You're already tuning in. You already know you're watching your Rockies every day. You know your Rockies. You're following them. Why not put your Rockies knowledge to the test a little bit and play some daily fantasy sports? You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. So Brenton Doyle hits. Maybe it's Brenton Doyle stolen bases. Austin Gomber strikeouts. Let's see. Maybe Jacob Stallings home runs. He's been hitting a couple of those. All you got to do, find your players, look at the stats that are available, and there's a lot of stats available for you to choose from on the PrizePicks app, and you just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, and you can win up to 100 times your cash. You can win up to 100 times your money with baseball-only lineups on PrizePicks. If you submit a winning lineup featuring 4 demon squares, you'll cash in big time on the biggest moments of baseball's early season. PrizePicks even offers injury insurance so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For baseball games, if you have a player who registers 2 plate appearances or less, PrizePicks will have your back and not count that as a loss. Check out PrizePicks and all the options available to you on the PrizePicks app. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's the PrizePicks app and the download code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming services. Thanking you again for making us your first listen of the day. Make sure you're checking out Locked On Sports today and getting all your play-by-play action on the SiriusXM app. And, hey, after the games, the Rockies postcast over on the Locked On Denver Sports channel. You got to tune in. Live cast, live streaming, live Rockies reaction there after the games. Check it out. It's also available in the Locked On Rockies show feed, the audio feed, so check it out there. The Rockies are trying to get some all-stars and are probably only going to have one all-star, even though they have a case and an argument to be all-stars here. And let's see here. The current rankings, and we're going to read a little bit from Renee Descartes' Yes, Ezequiel Tovar should be an all-star piece from yesterday from Purple Row. So according to the first ballot update, Elias Diaz is 8th in voting for catchers. Ryan McMahon is 5th in voting for third baseman. And Ezequiel Tovar is at 10th. But let's take a look here. Ezequiel Tovar, and this is actually also posted from the official Twitter account here, too, from the Rockies. And it summarizes it pretty nicely as well. Let me just do a quick little... And, okay, here we go. Tovar is first in NL shortstops in doubles, total bases, slugging, extra base hits, fielding percentage, total chances, assists. He's second in hits, second in OPS, second in WAR, baseball reference WAR, tied for second in home runs, third in batting average. That's an all-star. Plain and simple. I mean, there's really no deep argument to be made, especially now with Mookie Betts going down with the injury. And Renee kind of breaks things down and compares to the other people that are above him. Ezekiel Tovar, yeah, better batting average and better numbers across the board than, let's see. Looks like the only thing that might, Ellie De La Cruz has got him beat a little bit in OBP. Same with win there. But Tovar's got him beat in batting average. Tovar's got them beat in slugging percentage. WRC plus, Tovar is better than most, not better than all, but his defense certainly the best in the bunch, I would say. And overall WAR, I guess they're Ellie De La Cruz, Francisco Lindor, and Willy Adames have been worth more overall on Fangraphs WAR this year, but I don't know about that. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, again, I mean, it's the numbers, so you can't really argue with the numbers, right? But for him to be so far behind these, it's just the classic All-Star game thing, right? Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, Ellie De La Cruz, Orlando Arcia, Willy Adames, Ha-Seong Kim, Francisco Lindor, Mason Wynn, Dansby Swanson, all ahead of Ezekiel Tovar. Dansby Swanson's batting 212. His batting line is 212, 291, 349. He's got a WAR of this season of 0.9. I mean, Arcia is batting 222, 253, 361. He's literally a negative. He's nearly a negative WAR player at 0.5. O'Neal Cruz 1.2, Mason Wynn 1.3, CJ Abrams 1.3, Ha-Seong Kim 2.0. I mean, if you're going just solely on WAR and you're looking at that type of number, which is a simple way to look at it, the only people that have a case are Adames, Ellie De La Cruz, and Francisco Lindor. But then when I look deeper into those numbers, I like Ezekiel Tovar's numbers more. Outside of the walk percentage is the biggest, the walk and the strikeout percentage. But Ellie De La Cruz strikes out at a 31% clip. Willy Adames strikes out at a 21% clip. I mean, Ezekiel Tovar's BABIP is much higher. Ezekiel Tovar has, I mean, it is right in the thick of it with RBI. I mean, the problem is it's just here's what Renee says. By Fangraph WAR, he's the 5th most valuable shortstop and the 22nd best player in Major League Baseball. In terms of home runs, he ranks 2nd among shortstop. His slugging is the highest of all National League shortstops, 20th for all Major League players. His defense is exceeded only by that of Willy Adames, which is the 5th best for all players. Tovar's 85 hits are the 5th most in MLB. His 50 singles rank 17th in Major League Baseball, and his 22 doubles time in 2nd for the most with Aaron Judge. It's insane. I mean, there's plenty of argument there that it is as Ryan McMahon maybe cools off a little bit. It's clear that Ezekiel Tovar has very strong headwinds towards being an all-star. But I think if you look at the numbers and you break them down, Elise Diaz and Ryan McMahon have a case as well. I think the thing that's really tough about some Rockies players having solid to good seasons and some decent numbers is it's washed away by this season. It's washed away by last season too. It's washed away by the reputation of the Rockies. You can't be great on the Rockies and still be a team that doesn't have 30 wins yet, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to people, and it doesn't matter to the voter. You're still on the Rockies, and you're still not going to get the respect that you deserve. And the Rockies players won't get the respect they deserve even in the years they're good either, because Coors Field and the Rockies' reputation is so stained and tarnished, it's going to be a problem. But Ezekiel Tovar clearly leading the way for Rockies all-star candidate. But Elias Diaz, the injury is probably going to sink there, put that repeat all-star appearance not going to happen. But he's been great. And Ryan McMahon has had really, really, really solid stuff this season. So we'll see how it plays out. Folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. For your second listen, go check out Locked On MLB. If you need more Colorado sports coverage, check out Locked On Broncos, Locked On Avalanche, Locked On Nuggets, and Locked On Buffs. I'm Paul Holden. You can catch us all season long right here on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel. Until then, this is Paul Holden saying so long on the Locked On Rockies podcast.